Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the source material you send us and really get into it. Find the core stuff, the surprising bits, what you need to know.
Yeah.
And today we're diving into something, well, pretty unique based on what you shared. It's a transcript called The Undeniable Legacy of Ron Killing's RTruth.
That's right. And our job today is basically to explore the incredible layers of Ron Killings. You know, the guy most people know as the one-of-a-kind RTruth.
He really is one of a
He's
kind.
someone who just doesn't fit neatly into any box, does he? You know him from wrestling, obviously. But this material makes it clear he's so much more a musician, an entertainer, and just, well, a really enduring figure.
Absolutely. So this deep dive, we're going to pull out those key insights from the transcript. His journey, the huge moments in wrestling, his music, which is genuinely authentic, and the mark he's made.
It's quite a story.
It really is. Get ready to see how someone can, turn massive challenges
Absolutely.
into stepping stones, really, and build a legacy that's just completely his own. There's some stuff in here that genuinely surprised me.
It's a powerful story. Resilience, breaking the mold.
Yeah.
All of that.
So let's start where this material really puts the emphasis of the foundation. His beginnings. Ron Killings, born January 19, 1972, down in Williamsburg, South Carolina.
Right.
But he ended up growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Mm.
in what the material describes as a pretty tough neighborhood.
And what's fascinating right from the get-go, according to the source, is that his first love wasn't even wrestling.
No.
It was music. Hip-hop culture, deeply. We're talking breakdancing, rapping.
Yeah.
That was his first thing, his creative outlet.
And the material, it doesn't gloss over the hard parts either. It mentions involvement in local street life, even time in jail for drug possession, distribution.
Yeah, it's upfront about that.
And it seems like that wasn't just, a detour. It was pivotal.
It really seems so. The material highlights that experience specifically as a major turning point. And crucially, while he was in prison, it wasn't just something that happened to him, it was the catalyst. Made him decide, okay, need a different path.
And this part is really interesting.
Yeah.
The transcript talks about this key encounter he had around that time meeting the wrestling promoter, Jack Crockett.
Crockett, yeah.
Crockett saw something in him, saw potential, and actually offered him training. I mean, that meeting just fundamentally shifted his whole life direction.
Exactly. It paints such a vivid picture of transformation, right? From facing these serious challenges, personal struggles,
Yeah.
to someone seeing that spark and offering a completely different route.
A whole new world.
Totally. And that's how he started the wrestling journey. Debuting late 90s, the material says, under the name K-Crush.
K-Crush, yeah. He worked the indies, had that first little run in the WWF as it was then.
Right.
But this source material, it makes it crystal clear. He made undeniable, groundbreaking history over in TNA.
Yeah.
Total nonstop action wrestling.
Okay, yeah, this is one of the biggest takeaways from the material. You really have to pause on this one. In 2002, Ron Killings became the first African-American ever to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
The NWA World's title.
While he was in TNA, yeah. I mean, think about that for a second. That specific championship, it's history. This wasn't just winning a title. This was genuinely, historically groundbreaking, breaking a major barrier in wrestling.
That NWA championship win.
Wow.
Yeah, that feels like something that should be shouted from the rooftops more often. A huge historical achievement.
Absolutely.
And the material explains why he stood out back then. It wasn't just athletic ability, though he had that. It was that incredible charisma, the mic skills. He brought this authentic street culture energy, into wrestling in a way that just connected.
And that authenticity, according to this source, was crucial. It wasn't only about his success. It points out he helped open doors, showed that bringing your true self, your background, could actually lead to top-level success.
Yeah, proving it could work.
Yeah, right. And after TNA, the material mentions his return to WWE. And that's really where the character the whole world knows came to life. RTruth.
RTruth. The persona, it's pure him, isn't it? Coming back to WWE 2008, the rebranding happens.
Yeah.
And this material absolutely nails what makes RTruth work. That totally unique blend. Comedy, complete unpredictability, but, and this is key, still backed up by serious athleticism.
Oh, he became a fan favorite almost immediately. The source brings up those classic quirks, right? Talking to Little Jimmy.
Little Chin.
The spontaneous rap breaks backstage. He just has this infectious, often totally absurd energy that people just loved.
And honestly, you cannot talk RTruth in WWE without talking about the 247 championship, that
Sorry,
legendary run.
Yeah.
The material says he practically carried that title, turned it into maybe the most entertaining segment on the show sometimes. Rack it up.
Yeah.
Get this. Over 50 reigns. 50.
Over 50. It's kind of staggering when you actually hear the number, right? He completely reinvented what that belt could be, made it this vehicle for these ridiculous skits, these chases.
Always looking over his shoulder.
Exactly. He made people genuinely tune in just to see what crazy thing RTruth would do next with that belt.
But I do appreciate that the material is careful here. It balances that comedy genius with his actual in-ring credential.
Important point.
It reminds us, underneath all the antics,
Yeah.
he's a serious competitor. He's been in there with Cena, The Rock, Brock Lesnar. I mean, absolute top-tier legends.
Right, and don't forget, he had that significant tag team run with The Miz, challenging for major titles.
Sure.
And the material brings up specific moments. Fans love iconic RTruth stuff. That Royal Rumble ladder incident, they call it pure gold.
It was. It absolutely was.
And of course, winning the 247 title dressed as a bush.
Winning a championship dressed as shrubbery. It's just, it's peak glorious RTruth. But seriously, how does someone do that?
It's a great question.
How do you make people belly laugh at a guy in a bush costume 1 minute and then, turn around and have a believable match with a main eventer? It seems like an impossible tightrope to walk.
And that's really what this material helps us understand. It's his unique gift. He has this rare ability to lean all the way into the comedy, the unpredictability,
Yeah.
without ever really losing that underlying sense that he's a capable, legitimate athlete.
Yeah.
He earns the audience's trust, so they just go along for the ride no matter how absurd it gets. It's a very rare blend.
Okay, now, let's shift gears a little, because the source material also makes a really important point about another side of Ron Killings. His music.
Yeah. The music.
It emphasizes he's a legit artist.
Yeah.
Not just, a wrestler messing around with rap on the side.
That distinction feels key based on this. It points to a real body of work. Multiple singles, music videos. This isn't just a hobby. It's another serious creative outlet for him.
And there's that direct link many fans do know. He writes and performs his own entrance music. Iconic tracks like What's Up, Set It Off.
Huge parts of his persona.
Those songs are as much RTruth as anything he does in the ring, really.
But this material suggests it goes deeper, the authenticity. He's writing his own lyrics involved in production, and he's putting his real-life experiences in there. The struggles, the redemption, chasing dreams. It's all in the verses.
So it's like another way he's sharing his truth with people.
Seems like it. And the connection's real. The material mentions him performing live at wrestling shows, the crowd singing along every word. That speaks volumes about the genuine connection the music makes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you tie this back to his whole story, that journey of resilience, transformation, his music feels like another powerful channel for him to communicate that and connect with people on a level deeper than just, pure entertainment.
So pulling all these threads together, the material really synthesizes his impact beautifully. Ron Killings stands as this incredibly powerful symbol of resilience. That journey from a really tough start to the absolute biggest stages in entertainment. It's just a story that really deserves attention.
And his longevity. It's genuinely remarkable.
Isn't it?
Over 2 decades at the top level, still performing incredibly well over 50 years old now, but moving and looking like someone much younger.
Yeah.
The material calls it a testament to his dedication, and you just have to agree. It really is.
Let's quickly recap those barriers he smashed, like the material highlights. First Black NWA World Heavyweight Champion, fearlessly blending authentic hip-hop culture with pro wrestling.
Yep.
And creating this unique space where he's both a beloved comedian and taken seriously as a competitor.
His influence is undeniable, too. This material suggests he absolutely helped pave the way for and still influences newer generations. It even names guys like Montez Ford, Swerve Strickland as examples.
Oh, interesting. And he's definitely influenced the tone of wrestling, hasn't he? Proving you can be incredibly fun, super entertaining, without ever sacrificing credibility or making things feel foolish.
Right, finding that balance. And his connection goes beyond just wrestling fans. This material notes his status as a meme legend.
He is.
How active he is on social media, those memorable moments he's had with other celebrities, Drake Maverick, Bad Bunny. He's someone who seems genuinely respected across different spheres.
And the source even touches on his future. Notes he's still going strong, still interested in both wrestling and music.
Still got gas in the tank.
Totally. and teasing potential projects and apting other collaborations. They even float the idea he could really crush it in Hollywood.
You look at that whole picture, the material basically concludes his legacy is, well, he's a living legend. A completely one-of-a-kind entertainer, and proof that you can constantly reinvent yourself, stay true to who you are, and just keep making history.
Yeah.
His story, they say, deserves all the flowers. And, I mean, it's hard to argue with that assessment, isn't it?
Not at all.
What makes his story resonate so deeply? And what makes this blend of impact across so many different areas so unique? I think it comes down to that absolute unwavering authenticity, combined with just a truly unparalleled gift for entertainment and connection.
And that wraps up this deep dive. We've pulled out those core insights from the material you shared, really unpacking the incredible journey and, yeah, the undeniable legacy of Ron Killing's RTruth.
We've touched on that powerful story of resilience, his historical significance in wrestling, that unique and truly beloved RTruth character, and his authentic talent as a musician, too.
Yeah. Hopefully this deep dive has given you, the listener, a much richer understanding of this really fascinating figure and maybe provided some of those aha moments that were tucked away in that source material.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to maybe chew on. Building on what the material mentioned about him being over 50, still active, maybe looking at acting, Ron Killing's entire career, as we've discussed, has been defined by blending things. Genres, expectations, bringing hip-hop and street culture into wrestling, merging comedy, a serious athleticism, making rap music that's deeply personal.
Right.
So, given that whole history, how might his unique ability to just inhabit and successfully merge these different performance styles, how might that lead him to totally unexpected success and continued influence in completely new areas, further challenging what we even think a career path should look like, especially over the long haul?
Interesting question. Definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for going on this deep dive with us.